Greetings, Mavericks and new viewers. Tonight, direct and live from the Maverick News Network World Studios. This is Maverick News with Rick Walker.
Well, welcome back to the Maverick News Channel, everyone. Hello, Maverick family. Charlie Kirk, where has he been buried, or was he? Fallout from yesterday's or last night's address to the nation by Canada's Prime Minister Mark Carney. And really weird stuff. Bat Boy. We're going to have Bat Boy news tonight. And I've got something that's really going to get you guys riled up. I know it. Video of an Indian, like as from India, truck driver cooking while driving and getting into an accident. So stay tuned. We have all that and a whole lot more still ahead here on Maverick News.
Greetings, brave Mavericks. Our quest for truth continues. We go beyond fake news. Together we expose propaganda. Together we pull others out of rabbit holes. We are Maverick thinkers. We are all unique individuals, defenders of individual rights and freedoms, credible, trusted, grounded in reality. Maverick News, defending free speech. Donate at freedomreporters.com. Do it now. Tomorrow may be too late. Maverick News. The world is watching. Maverick News. The world is watching.
What a load of crap this next story is. The European Union increasing sanctions against Russia. No more toilets for Putin. That's right. Pretty soon, excuse my language, Putin won't have a pot to piss in. If the EU keeps up these sanctions. So he today, Putin mocks this ban on toilets. He hit back at the European Union after it's now, what is it? It's about the 19th, I think, sanctions package that they have undertaken against Russia. He met with reporters, held a news conference where he mocked the EU decision. He says that these measures will cost them dearly, and they will need Russian toilets if they continue to behave this way. We've got video. Let me bring it up. Here's the, oops, come on, baby. Where are you going there? I need my tab. Come on, I need my tab. Okay. All right. Here's Putin at the news conference on the ban on Putin's pissers.
The politics of it, then, of course, it's an unfriendly step towards Russia. It is obvious. It is not going to strengthen Russian-American relations that we have just started to restore with such actions, with such steps. The U.S. administration is damaging the U.S.-Russia relations. Well, the fact that they banned buying toilets from us will cost them dearly. I believe they might require toilets under the current conditions if they will continue similar policies in regards to the Russian Federation. As for the politics, what do we have here? It is an attempt to exert pressure on Russia. But no self-respecting country, no self-respecting nation will never make any decisions under pressure. And obviously, Russia has this privilege, has this prerogative to be among this list of self-respecting countries and nations. If our oil and our petroleum product will be removed from the global market, the prices will grow. And we discussed it with my American counterpart. It will result into the spike, in the upsurge in the fuel, in the energy, including at the gas stations, including the U.S. The United States will not be excluded from this. And if we look at the calendar, at the political calendar in the U.S., we can understand how sensitive these matters are. And if such decisions are made, we need to understand who will benefit from those. But for us, it is important that we feel confident, we feel stable, and despite some losses that we will obviously face due to a number of circumstances, our energy sector feels quite confident.
Yesterday, we heard yet another statement from the U.S. president about whether or not there will be a meeting with you and about the Ukrainian crisis. Almost simultaneously, the U.S. imposed sanctions against Russian oil companies. Today, the European Union introduced another round of Russian sanctions. Now, toilets are banned, as well as motorized toys, puzzles, and tricycles. How can you comment on all of this?
The fact that they've banned the purchase of our toilets will cost them dearly. In fact, I think they would actually need them in the current situation, especially if they continue this same policy towards the Russian Federation. As for the statement by the President of the United States, well, what can I say? During our last phone conversation, both the meeting itself and the location for it was proposed by the American side. And I agreed to this, and I shared my own thoughts and perspectives on the matter, and said that, of course, such meetings really do need to be very well prepared. Tom, for both myself and the President of the United States, it would be a mistake to approach this lightly and to leave the important meeting without the expected result. I should say that the President of the United States agreed with this, fully agreed, and said that on their side, a number of officials from the current administration would be working on preparing this meeting. He even named some of them. And I said that after our American colleague finalizes the list of those who will be working on preparing our meeting, we will respond accordingly. For our part, we will also announce who will be working on our side, on the Russian side. But at the initial stage, without any doubt, the first steps in this direction should be taken by the Minister of Foreign Affairs of the Russian Federation, Lavrov, and Secretary of State Rubio. Well, that's what we agreed on. Now, I am familiar with this statement that the President of the United States has decided to cancel or postpone this meeting. Rather, he is talking about postponing this meeting. What can be said? Dialogue is always better than any kind of confrontation, disputes, or especially war. That is why we have always supported this, the continuation of dialogue, and we support it now as well. Now, as for the new sanctions, first of all, there is nothing new here. Yes, of course, they are serious for us, that's clear, and they will have certain consequences. But overall, they will not significantly affect our economic well-being. During his first presidential term, it is well known that President Trump imposed the largest number of sanctions that had ever been introduced against the Russian Federation up to that point. As of today, they certainly have two aspects, both purely political and economic. As for the political aspect, what is it really about? It is, of course, an attempt to put pressure on Russia. But no self-respecting country and no self-respecting people ever make decisions under pressure. And without a doubt, Russia has the privilege of considering itself among these self-respecting countries and peoples. That's the first point. Second, this is the purely economic component. Yes, and if we talk about the political aspect, of course, this is an unfriendly act towards Russia, that's obvious, and it does not strengthen Russian-American relations, which had only just begun to recover. Of course, with such actions, the US administration is damaging Russian-American relations.
So that video compiled by the Times of India. So, yeah, this is the 19th sanctions package. It bans direct exports of toilets, bidets, flush cisterns, and similar sanitary ware to Russia or for use there. Exceptions may apply for humanitarian aid or pre-existing contracts, but enforcement, we are told, is going to be strict. The ban doesn't cover bathtubs, shower curtains, wash basins, or toilet seat covers, likely to avoid overly broad restrictions on unrelated items. So what's the rationale for this? Well, there's no specific jurisdiction given in this sanctions package. In the official EU journal, the package as a whole targets Russia's ability to finance the war by curbing revenue from imports. EU foreign policies, the European Union's foreign policy chief is saying it makes it increasingly difficult for Putin to finance the war. And Putin quipped today, of course, that the cancellation of the purchase of our toilets will cost them dearly, and joked that EU countries would really need them in today's situation, downplaying the impact this is going to have. So he's kind of making it look like it works both ways, but I don't know. And they're making a mockery of it, or making a mockery of it. They're trying to mock it. Putin's trying to downplay it. And of course, because of the nature of the product involved in the sanctions, it just lends itself very well to humor and quick quips. Now, back to Canada, where last night we brought you live the address to the nation from Mark Carney, Prime Minister, laying out his plans for the budget and the economy in a broader vision in the face of the sanctions, if you will, or the tariffs with the United States, the big trade war that's ongoing today. Well, we already got some reaction from Poilievre yesterday, but now today in the House of Commons, it was, of course, the first item of business during question period.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Thank you. Mr. Speaker, yesterday the Prime Minister gave a speech, a depressing speech. He said that in his youth there was a lot of opportunity, but that the future for our young people would not be as good as his past had been. He said that young people need to make sacrifices. Sacrifices? That's what young people have been making for the last 10 years under the Liberals. The Liberals have doubled the cost of housing, they've taken away jobs, and they've created intergenerational debt. Young people have to sacrifice more. What do they have left to sacrifice? The Honourable Minister of Government Transformation. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. You know what young Canadians have sacrificed in the last election? They sacrificed a pessimistic, negative, critical vision of Canada from the leader of the official opposition. They chose a serious leader, an ambitious government, Mr. Speaker, that is uniting the Canadian economy to create opportunity. We're talking about $215 billion for Canada's GDP. We're talking about major projects from one end of the country to the other. They're going to create great jobs for the future.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Mr. Speaker, apparently the minister didn't listen to the Prime Minister's speech last night when he said that young people are going to have to make sacrifices. They're going to have to sacrifice even more. That's after 10 years of the Liberals. And they forced 3 major sacrifices on our youth. They've made the cost of housing unaffordable. They've killed jobs with the worst jobs numbers in 30 years. And they've created intergenerational debt. Why not propose an affordable budget so that our young people can have an affordable life? The Honourable Minister. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And every day, here in this House, at every question period, the gulf between this career politician, the leader of the opposition, and an economist who has private sector experience like the Prime Minister gets wider and wider and more obvious for Canadians. What the Prime Minister said yesterday is that we're going to spend less to invest more, that we're going to have a transformational budget with the biggest capital investments in years to create jobs for young people from one end of the country to the other.
Speaker, yesterday the Prime Minister made a very depressing speech to Canada's youth. He said they would have to make more sacrifices. More sacrifices. After 10 Liberal years that doubled the cost of housing and drove out the possibility that youth could own their own home. After the sacrifice of their jobs, with the worst employment numbers since the 1990s. After the sacrifice of a lifelong of shouldering high debt. Young people need hope, jobs, and homes. Why won't the Prime Minister reverse his disastrous decade of policies so that we can restore that hope?
The Honourable Secretary of State for Labour.
Speaker, I had the honour of presenting red seals to 3 new apprentices of the IBEW in Local 230, Victoria, BC. Mr. Speaker, they're proud of what they accomplished. They're optimistic about the future because, Mr. Speaker, we are going to put them to work. Mr. Speaker, we're going to build homes. We're building major infrastructure projects in the national interest. Thousands of jobs, thousands of opportunities for apprenticeship. Mr. Speaker, while the Conservatives come to this House and talk Canada down every day, we're going to be supporting workers who are building Canada up.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
3 apprentices, Mr. Speaker. That does not account for the countless job losses, the highest jobless rate in 30 years outside of COVID caused by this government. Nor does it account for the doubling of housing costs that 80% of young people believe they will never be able to afford a home. But yet the Prime Minister tells our youth that they have to sacrifice even more. All he offers is more costs, more debt, and more despair when Canadians actually need is more homes, more jobs, and more hope. Why won't he introduce an affordable budget for an affordable life?
The Honourable Secretary of State.
Every day, the Conservatives come to this House and talk down the Canadian economy. We are supporting our workers, Mr. Speaker. We are going to build, Mr. Speaker. Build bold. Build now with Canadian lumber, with Canadian steel, and Canadian unionized worker, Mr. Speaker. We are defending our workers, Mr. Speaker. We'll be there for Canada. I hope the Conservatives join us.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Speaker, apparently nobody over there watched the depressing miserable, hopeless speech the Prime Minister gave to Canadian youth yesterday. He said that Canadian youth need to sacrifice more, Mr. Speaker, when in fact, quite the opposite is true. Mr. Speaker, the youth of this country have sacrificed enough. They can't afford homes, they can't get jobs, and now they have a generational lifetime of debt to shoulder. What Canadian youth need is homes, jobs, and hope. Yesterday, I provided the Prime Minister with a plan to do it. Will he put that hopeful plan in his budget?
The Honourable Government House Leader.
The only person who's miserable when the Prime Minister speaks, Mr. Speaker, is the Leader of the Opposition. What the Prime Minister is talking about is spending less and investing more. Investing in what? In careers for young people, in building major national projects, in being a technology leader in the world today with Premier Ford leading the world in small modular nuclear reactors. Mr. Speaker, the young people of this country are proud to be Canadians. They're proud to see a future from coast to coast to coast in this country. The young people of this country have a bright future.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
It is too bad that that minister didn't write the Prime Minister's speech yesterday, because it wouldn't have bored and depressed to tears all of those poor students stuck in that room. There he spoke about how they would have to sacrifice more and that it would take time to reverse all of the misery that has built up over the last 10 years. Mr. Speaker, young people want to have homes. They want to have jobs. They want to have hope. They want a budget that is affordable so they can have a life that is affordable. Will the Prime Minister introduce that budget so that Canadians can restore the promise of their country?
The Honourable Government House Leader.
Mr. Speaker, you can be sure we are going to introduce a budget. The question is whether the Leader of the Opposition is going to support that budget, because here's what that budget's going to do. It's going to give young people all over this country the ability to stand up and say, that's where my future lies, in Canada, in skilled trades, in technology, in the professions, in careers that are going to give me and my family hope, a home, a community, a job, a future, the best country in the world, Canada.
The Honourable Member for Saint-Jean.
Okay, that's enough of this being. It'll be November 4th for the budget to be introduced in Kazakhstan. And with that, I should mention again that all of that may very well be a prelude to another election. If the budget doesn't pass and the Liberals do only have a minority government, just shy of a majority, so they need at least a few people on the opposition benches to vote with them to approve the budget. And if that doesn't happen, it could become a vote of confidence and we end up in another election. I don't know if the Canadian public really has the appetite for it, being that, we just went through an election. I don't know if people really want that. It might be a miscalculation on the part of the Conservatives if they push it. I have seen today some influencers online posting saying that, you can tell from the smile on Pierre Poilievre's face that he's going to push for another go at the polls. So we shall see. I don't know. I think people it might end up in another backlash. And I'll tell you this: if the Conservatives do force an election, they don't support the budget, and then there's another election. I doubt the Conservatives would win, because I think the public would. They don't want the money spent. They're tired of it. We just went through it. With all of the uncertainty out there right now, I think they're looking for a steady course forward at the moment. And I think you're going to, see backlash probably against the Conservatives. They'll lose the election, and that would cost Poilievre probably his leadership and likely his career. So my prediction is he'll think about that, take it into consideration. They will get that budget passed. There will not be an election. There's a lot of grandstanding right now, drama that is being built around this, but in the end, no, I don't think we're going to have an election. But between now and November 4th, you'll hear talk about it, just for the purposes of drama, engaging the public in something that they can latch onto in an emotional way. So, also today, Ottawa cutting tariff relief on some U.S. cars because of the tariff war. Federal government limiting how many vehicles Stellantis and General Motors can import tariff-free after both of those companies cut back on their Canadian operations here. So federal officials not authorized to speak publicly until an announcement has been finalized sometime this evening. They're telling us that Canada is limiting how many U.S. assembled vehicles can be imported without facing retaliatory tariffs. So this is being reported tonight by Canadian Press. That's who's breaking the story. Ottawa says accessing the tariff-free quota came with terms requiring each company to maintain Canadian jobs and investment. And both companies, GM and Stellantis, have announced cuts in recent weeks. So sources in Ottawa are saying that it's reducing the remission quota for General Motors by 24%, and it's doing the same for Stellantis by 50%. High stakes. We'll keep an eye on that. Maybe we'll learn more even by later this evening, but I suspect probably not till tomorrow. Oh, yes. Let me just check over here. I've got some very interesting stories lined up for you tonight, but I want to make sure we cover what we need to cover here. So, the Prime Minister also went to visit the Toronto Blue Jays because, as I'm sure all of you know, the Jays are off to the World Series. Carney visits Blue Jays on eve of World Series Game 1. Hang on here. I need just 5 or 6 seconds here. Okay. Almost there. Okay. So there it is. Carney says, just bring this image up so you've got a picture of the PM. He says the U.S. President Donald Trump hasn't called him about the upcoming World Series between the Jays and the Los Angeles Dodgers. He says, quote, I think he's afraid to make a bet. He went to Toronto to visit the Jays at the Rogers Center this afternoon. He says, I'm ready. We're ready to make a bet with the U.S. Why don't you put like the trade deal on the table and frame a bet around that? That would get people watching. So during his visit, it says here on the CTV site that Carney spoke to Blue Jays President Mark Shapiro, General Manager Ross Atkins, and Manager John Schneider in the dugout. And Carney reiterated the Blue Jays will beat the Dodgers in 6 games. He says the country is so pumped, I think the world is pumped for the series. He acknowledged the Japanese media covering Dodgers star Shohei Ohtani. I don't know it. I haven't been following baseball this year. I'm not really a huge baseball fan. Like the game, I'm just not a watcher. I'm too busy with politics to watch much sports. And he quipped that they're not going to win. Yeah, earlier, Carney and Premier Doug Ford said they are on the same page when it comes to many issues concerning the country and province, including how many games it will take the Blue Jays to defeat the Dodgers in the World Series. I've seen some pro-51st staters here in Canuckistan saying the Toronto Blue Jays aren't going to win. Well, that's why you're traitors. because you can't even cheer for the Canadian baseball team when they finally make it to the World Series again. And they've won the World Series in the past, so they might. You just don't know. All the Canadians, us Canadians, can cross our fingers and hope for the best. Should be a good series. Maybe I'll watch. I usually do when it gets into the World Series. I just don't have time to watch much baseball. So this is pretty weird. So there's an anonymous billionaire who's paying the troops during the government shutdown. So Trump today says that whoever it is sent a check for $130 million. $130 million. Gee, I can barely afford to buy my groceries. Here he is.
And a friend of mine, talking about donors, a friend of mine, a man that's great. I'm not going to use his name unless he lets me do it. Susie can tell you about this, but he called us the other day and he said, I'd like to contribute any shortfall you have because of the Democrat shutdown. I'd like to personally contribute any shortfall you have with the military, because I love the military and I love the country, and any shortfall, if there's a shortfall, I'll contribute it. And today he sent us a check for $130 million. Can you share who that is? I would love to tell you. He doesn't really want the recognition, if you want to know the truth. But he gave us a check for $130 million. And that's going to go to which was sort of a shortfall, yeah. And that's going to go to the military, yeah. And what's your message?
Wow. That's crazy. Not crazy. I mean, like it's that's a lot of money. That's what I mean. A lot of money. So we'll see. I think we're up to now, I heard today they're up to 32 people killed now in those strikes on alleged narco-terrorist boats off the coast of Venezuela. I think we're up to, now that they're into such high numbers now that it's hard to keep track. Whether it's 8 boats that they have sunk or 9. Yesterday, I heard 24 people killed and another number of 29. Today, I'm hearing 32. We're going to keep on looking into all of that. It's very concerning. And of course, Rand Paul, kind of way out there, alone on the Republican side, or at least the furthest out, and taking the hardest line stance against all of this, saying that it's just not the way they normally do business on the high seas, that it's something that is very concerning to him. Violation of rights, no due process. You know the story because we've been talking about it here. Could the demolition of the White House's entire East Wing have been stopped? ABC asking the question tonight. This is also controversial, saying the rushed demolition of the White House's East Wing appears to break a long-standing policy requiring a federal commission to oversee and approve construction projects in Washington, D.C. before demolition begins. Former officials involved in the process told ABC News. A lot of people concerned about this. Trump, of course, even when the Secretary General of NATO was there yesterday, he spent, I think, more time talking about the renovations, the demolition of the East Wing so they can build this ballroom than he spent talking about military matters and the war in Ukraine.
This morning, sources tell ABC News the entire East Wing of the White House could be demolished by this weekend, making room for President Trump's 90,000 square foot ballroom. The demolition of the East Wing, which has stood for more than 120 years, shocking many on Capitol Hill, because just months ago, President Trump said this.
It won't interfere with the current building. It'll be near it, but not touching it.
Trump yesterday changing his tune.
In order to do it properly, we had to take down the existing structure.
Trump now raising the cost, saying the ballroom will cost $300 million.
I think there'll be nothing like it.
Trump says the project is being funded entirely by private donors. The White House reportedly securing millions from Lockheed Martin and Google. Microsoft, Apple, and Meta also reportedly listed as potential donors. Congressman Jamie Raskin calling it a gaudy Marie Antoinette ballroom for the billionaires and CEOs. Hillary Clinton saying it's not his house, it's your house, and he's destroying it. The White House dismissing critics as unhinged leftists clutching their pearls.
President Trump's going to add the greatest improvement to the White House in the history of the building.
Supporters. How does something like this become a left-right issue? You're crazy leftists. You're crazy fascists. Like, I don't. It's a renovation project.
Say the complex needs to be modernized, but a preservation group questions the scale, saying the ballroom will dwarf the White House residence, disrupting its classical design. One historian claims it's not.
I guess if you're making the decision and proceeding with the project using unitary executive power, one man's stroke of a Sharpie, I guess you could say that might be a little bit authoritarian and yeah, left versus right, blah, blah, blah.
What the founding fathers envisioned.
The construction of the ballroom takes us toward a presidential palace and a palatial complex for entertainment. It runs counter to their vision of the executive mansion as being the people's house.
Even some Republicans question the project as the government shutdown drags into day 23.
We're talking about building a ballroom when we're trying to get the economy squared away. Timing's bad.
With no progress in negotiations on Capitol Hill, Democratic Senator John Fetterman is breaking with his party in hopes of reopening the government. He says Republicans should invoke what's called the nuclear option. It would allow the government spending bill to pass the Senate by simple majority instead of a 60-vote threshold, warning federal food assistance or SNAP benefits are about to run out for 42 million Americans. One Republican senator says the nuclear option is not the way to go.
These are moments when grown-ups should be able to sit down and be able to talk issues out.
With more federal...
Don't count on that. Grown-ups sitting down to talk issues out. When was the last time that happened? Oh, generations ago, if ever. And do you like, hey, are you not impressed with the sophistication of my political analysis when I use words like blah, blah, blah? And blah, blah, blah. That's why people tune in here. They know that they're going to get a very learned analysis of the day's top news stories. Rick, you should think before you speak. Nah, don't count on that either. Here's one that's just gonna, I know, and again, this is gonna PO a lot of people. I know it. Well, actually, you know what? I'm gonna save this one. First, we're going over here. We're going over here to this one. Well, should I go over to this one? No, I'm not. I'm going to go to the other one. You don't know what I'm talking about, but that's okay. Par for the course tonight. Blah, blah, blah. When it comes right down to it, those are the words that make the most sense when you're talking politics anyway. It's just true. Blah, blah, blah. There's a t-shirt. I'm going to write that down. Blah, blah. I better make sure I write all three down so I don't leave one out. Note to self. Blah, blah, blah. Have you seen this? Have you seen this? Has anyone seen this? Does this not enrage you? Oh man. Do you want me to play this? Okay, I will. I'm gonna do it. Here we go. Well, put that to you. What do you think? Let's go into the chat. Just taking a look. Let me look over here too. I'm going to check over on the other channel. Okay. Any thoughts on what we just watched there? Yeah. Yeah. And let's take a look here. Yeah, so rose-colored says that pisses me off. Yeah. And I'm going to get rid of that because I got that in my head. What else? Not hilarious. Yeah. Been tons taken off the road and should start there. Oh man, the Cron says, yeah. So here's the thing though. I watched that today. You know what? It's not real. It's not real. It was the first time I'd seen it. It looked vaguely familiar. And yet I was like, I've seen it, but I haven't seen it. And you know what? You know why? It's not real. It's AI with real video. This part is AI. This part is real. This happened in Ontario some time ago. Don't believe me? I went in, I did the research, and I even asked Grok. So I'll just show you what Grok brought up. Here's the Grok response. The video in question is partially staged. The first 14 seconds showing the truck driver cooking while driving was generated by AI, while the subsequent footage of the accident is real. The accident occurred on Ontario's 10 freeway involving Jasanpreet Singh, who was arrested for DUI and vehicular manslaughter after a multi-vehicle crash that left 3 dead and at least 4 injured. The authenticity of the cooking footage has been widely disputed online because it's not real. So real but not real, which is to say that, they're recycling the footage to get people even more upset. Of course, people justifiably upset with the real accident. This one, well, I think I'm sure of it. There are political motivations and other motivations behind it as well. And what all the motivations are, I guess you'd have to talk to the creator of the video, but pretty clear what's being done with it on X, where it's pretty much a free-for-all. It's like the Wild West over on Twitter/X, because it's the free speech platform. Still some censorship over there, but not very much. So it's almost like anything goes, real or not real. As a result, it is skewing our very perception of reality. And with that, and because that's sort of only a half real video that challenges your perceptions of reality, and because I have so much other really weird news to report tonight, we are going to now dip into our next segment, our next feature and special presentation of True Spiracies. Warren Buffett, billionaire, one of the richest people in the world, also a big investor in BYD Automotive in China, even though he's American. Electric vehicles. He says something really big is going to happen, painting not a very rosy picture. Maybe he listened to Mark Carney's address to the nation last night and took the Pierre Poilievre perspective on it. I'm not sure, but here's Warren Buffett. This was sent to me by a friend of mine who's a big stock market investor, financier type guy, always looking for new business opportunities, and he follows a lot of these guys. This is what he sent me.
You know, I'm a student of history. I've read a lot of it. And one of the things you learn when you read history is that the world is very good at creating periods of calm that feel like they will last forever. People forget that the sea has a tide. They forget that storms are not an anomaly, they are an inevitability. For the better part of a generation, we've been sailing on a very calm, very predictable sea, and it has made us comfortable. It has made us complacent. We've started to believe that this is the new nature of things. I'm here to tell you today that the barometer is dropping, the sky is changing color, and there is a seriousness in the air that I have not felt in a very long time. Something is about to happen in America. This is not a forecast. I don't have a crystal ball, but I have been in this business for over 80 years. I've seen a thing or two. I saw the speculative manias of the 60s. I saw the crushing inflation of the 70s. I saw the crash of 1987, the dot-com bust, the financial crisis of 2008. They all had different names, different triggers, but they all had one thing in common. They were preceded by a period where people collectively started to believe that the fundamental rules no longer applied. We are in such a period now, and it is my duty as your partner to talk about it plainly. Before I lay out what I'm seeing, I'd like you to do me a favor. In the comments, just write down one word that describes how you feel about your financial future right now. Are you confident, anxious, confused, excited? I want to get a sense of the room because the feelings you have are part of the story. What is happening is not a single event. It's a convergence of four powerful currents that are pushing us toward a very dangerous set of rapids, and many people are rowing as fast as they can directly into them without even looking up. One, the great disconnect. The casino.
Okay. Are you scared yet? He goes on and talks about the big storm coming. Referencing, you know, the big storm, the storm. Maybe I can find the references to it. Hang on just a moment. And here, trillions of dollars, possible, an economic overstayed horizon, cornerstone accusations. Oh, go away. Virus control. And I don't know. Anyway, because it doesn't really matter. The words, the storm, though, really got my attention because, of course, we do hear people, especially in the Q movement, using that phrase a lot. You know, the storm, even I use it here sometimes. So I took note of that, his use of the word the storm was coming. The thing with this thing, though, and this is my friend who's, you know, very grounded. He paid attention to this video, but it is not real. It's AI. Also, not a real video. How do I know? Because they tell you so. Right in the description. But who raised the descriptions? So here's Warren Buffett. This video alone, 424,401 views since October 3rd. Says this is a fan-made channel and its content is not affiliated with Warren Buffett or any of his associated businesses. The videos are inspired by Warren Buffett's public statements, interviews, and writings. They're putting words in his mouth, making him say whatever they want him to say. I don't know how people even get away with this. Well, as long as I put it in the, I mean, you could use it, I guess, for political satire, for a joke, maybe, and it would be okay. But to present this stuff in a way, and I think this is deceptive, just to put stuff out there, like Richard Wolff, the economist, when I showed you that the other night, well, a few months ago, same thing. They've made a whole bunch of videos with him. It's not him. It's an AI generated voice. They've used actual video of him, then manipulated it using artificial intelligence to sync it all up. And then I showed you exactly how I could detect that. Today, I was able to detect that based on the sound of the voice, because there isn't enough pausing. It's not natural. So having a background in audio production, that's one of the things I went to school for years ago, audio and video production. I picked up on it right away. It didn't sound natural to me at all. The cadence, the breaths are not there. And I learned a lot about putting breaths in the right place when editing things. I'm so old. I used to edit audio using reel-to-reel tape, and you'd manually move the reel-to-reel tapes back and forth like that, so it would go over the playback head, and you could hear when they were about to, they'd take a breath, a person would take a breath, and you could hear it on the tape, and and to make it sound natural, you leave the breath in. It takes just a fraction of a second for that, and if you take it out, it doesn't sound natural. That's what's going on there. Warren Buffett never breathes. And so I was like, wait a minute, this guy doesn't have lungs. Maybe he's an ostrich. No, they have lungs. They're just not the same as human lungs. They're not the same as people. So there's a true spiracy, or a spiracy that's not true, if you want to look at it that way. And then I was thinking, what happened to all those drones? Remember the drones about a year ago? Everywhere, everybody was freaking out. The whole thing went viral as there were all these sightings all over the United States of drones, and talk about how these drones might be like UFOs. And I got curious, because I was like, it's been almost a year. We were supposed to find out what happened with these drones, and we sort of got part of an explanation, but not really. So I thought, I'm going to go looking to see if anybody's even talking about these things anymore. For the most part, in spite of all the hysteria surrounding it, it's just really dropped right off the radar. I think 99.9% of the population has now just forgotten about it. Not Tucker Carlson so much, though. He's still talking about it. I guess he gets clicks.
The drone sighting, or the lights in the sky over New Jersey last year, and so many sightings that it's really no dispute that it happened. The question is, what is it? And the president said that he would tell us. We've never heard. What was that, do you think?
I don't know. And, they're having also very similar drone sightings now over in Denmark that actually shut down both Danish airports on Sunday. I mean, it's, yeah, I mean, and why can't we know about it? And
but what's your sense? I know that you've done a lot on this. I've talked to you off camera, just because you're one of the few people whose judgment on this I trust. There's so much deception on this question. I think parts of it, what's the term they use? It's an op. I think part of the explanation is, but at its core are physical phenomena that have been recorded in such volume, at such scale, that like something real is happening. And I know you don't really have the final answer on that, but what is your sense?
Yeah, I mean, I think, look, first of all, the government is engaged in extensive disinformation on this topic, and that's just all confirmed. Like,
right.
It's been well documented what they've done. I mean, there's an alien crash retrieval manual that is officially, according to the official story, a total fake, a total fabrication. But I mean, when you look at it, it is extraordinary in its quality of, like, if it is a fake, I mean, complete with like the names of the people who checked it out and those people having been checked out. who would do that? Like, why would you do that? Well, one story is that it was used as passage material to identify counterintelligence spies in the U.S. intelligence community, but nonetheless, there has been so much government misinformation. There's also been, efforts to. There's also secret, technology projects. I mean, one of the guys that testified at the UAP hearing last week just said that that he has seen successful reverse engineering of technologies. There's a whole kind of Pentagon technological side of this that many other people have done so much better work on and reporting on than me, Jesse Michaels being one of the leaders of kind of unearthing it. I will say I don't think any of it could all be reduced to military hardware, either ours or somebody else's. I'm very confident that there's just way too many cases that don't fit that. I also think that Jacques Vallée has done really some of the most important scholarship on this. I find myself, and he just gave a presentation on it. He's the French character played by Francois Truffaut in Close Encounters of the Third Kind by Steven Spielberg. A French researcher who's just sort of an international treasure of UFO, cases. And, he's actually gone a very similar direction that you've gone. And I find myself going there a little bit too, which is that there is a spiritual element to this that I don't think is just purely attributable to technology, because the issue is such a Gestalt issue. Because, if you look like in a classic Gestalt, is it an old woman? Is it a young woman? Is this a spiritual issue sort of manifesting as sort of some high-tech hardware, or is it some high-tech civilization manifesting as something spiritual?
I don't know. So, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I also don't know what the hell this is. Let me show you this. Pivoting back to the toilet ban. Since this is True Conspiracies, I'm going to show you something that's just, something. You tell me, what the hell is this? I'm getting it up on the screen. Here we go. What is that? Weird. That's what it is. It's just, what is that? That's on the internet. Nee. Okay. That's what that is. So just throwing it out there tonight on True Conspiracies. I don't know. I don't know. Here's ex-Pentagon chief, intelligence chief, Jay Stratton. He says he's seen non-human craft. And this is also recent. So the UFO drone rhetoric is not actually entirely dead. Here we are, almost a year later. Well, actually, it is a year later. 1 year since the drone insanity, mania. Listen to this dude. This is new.
Learned that our United States government is in fact in possession of one or more explicitly non-human origin extraterrestrial spacecraft and the bodies of the occupants, which they have now confirmed through biological testing, DNA, that are non-human. So this, for example, Jay Stratton.
On behalf of the U.S. government.
You know what? He's in somebody else's house. I've seen that. We had somebody on the show who lived there. Look at the background. What's he doing in her house? You know what the answer is. Green screen, not true. It's fake. Everything's freaking fake. We're living in a fake world where reality is unreal and UFOs are reality. It's true. See?
Those are the explosive allegations from a former intelligence officer tonight in a whistleblower complaint that the Inspector General is taking very seriously. 36-year-old Air Force veteran David Grush is exposing what he calls a top-secret military program that has reportedly found wreckage of fully intact UFOs. The government now calls them UAPs, or unidentified anomalous phenomena. For years, there have been whispers and rumors that the government had aircraft of non-human origin. This report is the first evidence it might be true. The Inspector General has called Grush's complaint urgent and credible. Tonight, we have a World Television exclusive interview with the whistleblower.
Old. Not real, not current. But the interview is real. If you want more on that, you got to go to a show like Redacted. They have ostrich stories over there too. Yeah, where you get half the story. Or you can go watch Jimmy Dore, also telling half the story with a few lies in the middle today. I noticed that. I was watching. Yeah. There's truth, and then there's the Jimmy Dore show today with Katie Sidney. Where they said, he said today, Jimmy Dore said the alleged avian flu outbreak, and then he said later, not just alleged. He was really helping her out, and he said that the bird flu never actually, what was the word? I'm paraphrasing, but he's basically said it never manifested itself, or it never actually took hold out there. See, after he went to Grok and accurately said at the beginning of the program that 69 birds died from the bird flu, then said that it didn't really even happen. Now you want to talk about a psyop? Don't believe your lying ears or eyes when you're watching the Jimmy Dore show today. I don't know what else to tell you, man. COVID still top of mind for many people, and here's Rand Paul, and I think this might actually be true as we're getting into the true end of Truspiracies. He's posting this. He was on the Benny Show talking about Anthony Fauci.
I think something happened with you and Dr. Fauci is a remarkable clip that we've played probably hundreds of times on this program. You're the only senator in history to have gotten Dr. Fauci to shake. I've seen this guy on TV 100,000 times. I've seen him tell bald-faced lies to the American public. I've seen him ask for double and triple masking. I've seen him say some of the most, batshit crazy things I've ever heard anyone say on television, and he never shakes, except for here in this exchange with you, where you're asking about gain of function. And you can see his hand physically quivering. You can see Dr. Fauci physically shaking. That's a tell. That's an autonomic nervous system tell. You're a doctor. And these are things that, there it is, pretty remarkable. You've referred Dr. Fauci for criminal prosecution to the DOJ. I just love to get your overall assessment. One, of this remarkable clip. Why is he shaking? And then two, what's going to happen to Dr. Fauci?
Well, the exchange where he does lie to Congress is over gain of function. This is where you take two different viruses, combine the genetics for them, and you create a new virus that doesn't exist in nature that increases its transmissibility to people, or its infectiousness, or its lethality to people. And he's saying, no, we never funded this in Wuhan. They did fund it, and it was gain of function. We now have private emails that were discovered through FOIA, Freedom of Information Act, that show that he knew that he had done this. And so the reason I think he's shaking is he's concerned because he's been caught in a lie. And we're not done. I referred him twice for criminal prosecution in the Biden administration. I've referred him once for criminal prosecution to the Trump DOJ. We have worked with the Trump administration and finally gotten every document, just about every document you can imagine. We've been going through these for months now. We found evidence that he destroyed federal records and he directed others to destroy federal records. These are separate crimes. Now, there is a question whether or not his pardon will cover that, and we've asked him to come and testify. And people say, well, why do you ask him? Why don't you make him? Because the way the process works is you ask people first, and if they will testify, then you don't have to subpoena them. If you do have to go to a subpoena, then there may well be a court challenge, and we have another battle that we have to fight as well. So right now there is, we have asked him for information about his conversations and his use of non-governmental means of communication to do federal work. and we're going to look at what he gives to us in the next week or two. We're going to see if he will voluntarily come in and testify. But if he doesn't, we will subpoena him. So our hope is that we get a voluntary appearance. But at the very least, he's going to have to answer our questions concerning gain of function, but also destruction of records. If you'll recall, when they brought in one of his colleagues, a David Morenz, who worked with him at the NIH, Fauci acted like, oh, never knew him, hardly ever saw him. We have dozens and dozens of emails over years between the two. And Morenz was the one who said, oh, yeah, we had this FOIA lady over there who taught us how to avoid searches and requests. So what they do is they'd take, like, there was a virologist by the name of Christian Anderson who got an $8 million grant from Fauci after he supported Fauci's request to write an article saying that this couldn't have come from a lab, it had to come from nature. What they did with Anderson's name is it had a bunch of S's in it. They changed the S's into dollar signs so they wouldn't show up on a FOIA search. What I think is ironic about it is he was out there looking for money and shilling for money all the time up here. So they changed the S's in his name to dollar sign to avoid FOIA searches. There are a lot of shenanigans going on. Things that really, you talk about Watergate or you talk about scandals, they all pale. The COVID cover-up, I wrote a whole book on this, Deception, the Great COVID Cover-Up, because there's never been a cover-up more thoroughly documented, because we got most of their conversations, we got most of their emails, and we've seen them behind the scenes saying, oh my goodness, I'm pretty certain this looks like it was manipulated in a lab and came from a lab and not nature. Almost simultaneously, they're saying in public, no way, you're a crazy conspiracy theorist if you think it came from a lab. So publicly saying one thing and privately the other, probably so remarkable to ever catch somebody in such a cover-up.
I know that you have to run, Senator, but just to put an end cap on this as a follow-up, since you literally wrote the book on it and have asked the best questions on it, what was Dr. Fauci trying to cover up? Like, was he trying to cover up the EcoHealth Alliance funding of this research? Was he trying to cover up? Do you believe that he has culpability in actually releasing this virus? Do you believe that this was meant to rig the election and destroy the MAGA rallies and Trump's economic victories in 2020? Do you believe this was a bioweapon?
I probably wouldn't go that far. What I would say is that he was trying to protect the business of science. So science, we want to think that the scientists that work in cancer research want to cure cancer and they should win the Nobel Prize and that they're noble people and honorable people. But there's also the business of science, and it's run by billions and billions of dollars. Anthony Fauci was the head of the business of science ever since 9/11. After 9/11, we became more concerned with biological warfare, so we directed billions and billions of dollars into biological warfare research, ostensibly to defend against it. But there was a lot of things being experimented upon that actually could either be for defense or could be for offense, because many things are dual use. But he became in charge of all of that money. Now, if it became known that a virus that killed 15, 18 million people, which COVID did around the world, if it became known that he knew about it and didn't provide oversight and that there were safety lapses because this was done in an unsafe lab in China that doesn't have the same safety protocols and that he approved it, then he would have culpability, and that the business of science might get less money. People might say, well, maybe we shouldn't put billions of dollars of research into creating viruses that don't exist in nature that might kill us all. That doubt and that problem is why he had to vehemently deny it, but he also didn't want to face culpability for those deaths, frankly. He shares some culpability. Now, I don't go so far as to say, oh, we tried to do it on purpose. He tried to kill people. No, I think it was an accident. I think the leak from the lab was not purposeful, but was accidental. But you still, if you preside over an accident that kills 18 million people and you're an air traffic controller and two planes run into each other and hundreds of people die, you're no longer the air traffic controller. One of the punishments is, and it doesn't mean you were made necessarily an evil person, but you made a horrific error. Fauci made the largest error in modern medicine and in public health policy probably ever of someone. And for that, he deserves the rebuke of history, but he also deserves never to be in a position, nor should his lieutenants be in a position of managing any of our taxpayer money again, because they made such a profound mistake to fund dangerous research in Wuhan without adequate safety that led to the deaths of 18 million people.
True. You know what they weren't talking about over on the Jimmy Dore show today with Katie Pasitny from Universal Ostrich Farm, when she was talking about antibodies and all the research they do on antibodies. You know what they didn't mention, that as far as I saw, I watched most of the interview. I don't think I missed it because I just don't think they talked about it. Oh yeah, the antibody research was related to COVID. Yeah, not bird flu. Yeah, I'm waiting for the study on the bird flu stuff from the farm because I haven't seen one. That's why they keep losing in court. I guess they just keep forgetting to bring that study to the courthouse when their lawyer presents their arguments. We'll see what happens with the Supreme Court of Canada decision. Something doesn't smell right. Oh, yeah. Also, you know, the other thing she did talk about was how none of the birds have ever been tested. None of the birds have ever been tested. That's what she keeps saying. None of the birds have ever been tested. She slips in a little tiny thing that she says as part of her Truspiracy is she does mention in passing that none of the birds on the farm have been tested. But she leaves it open-ended, leading people to believe that there was never any testing of the birds at all. That's how people's minds are messed up. That's where the confusion is created, because there was testing and they did confirm, and they went beyond a PCR test and they actually confirmed the specific strain of the bird flu virus. But she doesn't mention that. They don't mention any of that in the interview because that's just inconvenient information. Anyway, yeah, and they never mention COVID. It's all just bird flu antibodies, save the ostriches, and then they assert as a statement of fact that these birds have herd immunity, which is also just a claim, not proven, no scientific evidence to say that these birds are actually immune from anything. Nothing to support their claim that these birds can't be infected again and possibly die anytime in the future. There's a lot of information that isn't spoken about in that interview. In many of the interviews that she does, it's I'll call it what it is. It's a false narrative with selective information, because while they do tell some truth, they don't tell the whole truth. And that's how you get a Truspiracy. Let's take a little break. We'll come back with more on this special edition of Truspiracies on the other side of this. And we have other really weird stuff tonight to share with you. Weird news.
Greetings, brave mavericks. Our quest for truth continues. We go beyond fake news. Together we expose propaganda. Together we pull others out of rabbit holes. We are maverick thinkers. We are all unique individuals. Defenders of individual rights and freedoms. Credible. Trusted. Grounded in reality. Maverick News. Maverick News. Defending free speech. Free speech. Donate at freedomreporters.com. Do it now. Tomorrow may be too late. Maverick News. The world is watching.
Can't we all just get along? Can't we just have unity at the ostrich farm, at the White House? Can't we just have world peace? Not if you're Laura Loomer. because these two, Marjorie Taylor Greene and Tucker Carlson, can't understand how she's got so much clout with Trump.
How does Laura Loomer get to be a Pentagon advisor, but you get primaried? Like, what is that?
I don't know. I've never understood why anyone takes her serious. I mean, this is a woman that can't even legally buy a gun because she had such serious mental problems. She literally posted the other day that she blew blood vessels in her eye as she was hysterically tweeting, like 40 or 50 times in one day. Who listens to a person like that? Like, no one should.
Holy crap, she blew a blood vessel in her eye because she posted so much on social media. Is that true? I don't know. It doesn't sound like a conspiracy, so I'm leaning on the side of truth. Maybe. Oh, I don't know. Charlie Kirk. Where has Charlie Kirk been buried? Just one other thing. This sent to me. I don't know if it's news. I don't even know if it's a true conspiracy. Just a point in passing. Letter from the Morning Star out in British Columbia, Canada. This is an editorial about the ostrich farm. I don't know why I'm talking like Scotty from Star Trek. Not very good accent. Scottish? Are these Scottish ostriches? No. But they are now viewed as being in the crosshairs of the CFIA for the call. And this Deborah Peon, is this Vernon, BC? I believe it is, the Morning Star. I think so. Anyway, she's pretty emotional about it. She loves the ostriches, understands and sympathizes with the farm owners. But in the end, this newspaper editorial, this op-ed, comes to the conclusion, just for a little balance here tonight, for what this is worth. She says, unfortunately, just cause has been proven by professionals with a much higher level of education than I, or than that of the Universal Ostrich Farm. I bow to their expertise. This does not mean we should never ask questions or push the borders of our brain or our quest for knowledge. Knowledge is power. However, when there is risk to human lives, no matter how big or small, caution is needed. As in this case, she says that the call is justified. After, I guess, I don't know who she is. Anyway, that's in the Vernon Morning Star. I'm pretty sure that's from Vernon, BC. Whatever. Just throwing it out there as a little balance against the massive audience of the Jimmy Dore show, where more U.S. social media influence is brought to bear on this bizarre, freaky, deaky story of the flightless birds out at Universal Ostrich Farm. Charlie Kirk now. On to Charlie Kirk. Let me take a little break. I'm going to cue something up here with regard to that, because do you know where Charlie Kirk was buried? The question was posed to me, and I went looking for answers. We'll share the result on the other side of this.
The information war is raging. Truth without integrity is worth nothing. Maverick News. Because those who have power and those who seek it must be held accountable.
The world is watching.
Join our family of truth seekers. Donate today and add your voice to the chorus of Maverick Knights. Donate at maverickdonations.com. Truth. Integrity. It's the Maverick way. Maverick News. The world is watching.
Where is Charlie? It has to be, for me, through all the history I know, recent and beyond recent, the whole Charlie Kirk assassination has to be one of the saddest and strangest events on American record. Right down to a lot of people believe that that the whole thing was staged. Of course, that's out there. And lending itself, like helping to amplify those conspiracies, true conspiracies, whatever that is, that rhetoric, is the fact that a lot of people are saying, like, well, where is Charlie? Like, where did they bury him? And it is not really clear. Of course, everyone, everyone pretty much watched the memorial service, which was, in my view, exploitive and strangely and distastefully gaudy, with fireworks. It was bizarre. Everybody wanted to latch onto Charlie because for a while he was the story in the world, Well, here's the High County News: the strange loneliness of Charlie Kirk's funeral. I flew to Phoenix, Arizona 1 week and 2 days after Charlie Kirk was killed in Orem, Utah. I wanted to see the memorial that his grieving organization, Turning Point USA, was holding in the Arizona suburbs. In the last 9 days, Charlie Kirk had gone from right-wing celebrity to martyred hero. I felt like something had tipped in our culture, and I thought I might be able to get a better sense of what that thing was if I attended the funeral. Anyway, it goes on here, talks a little bit about the big memorial service where they filled the stadium, right? And that was really more of a MAGA rally, I thought, than a fitting memorial or remembrance service for Charlie Kirk. It was politically exploitive. That is one of the main reasons I wrote that song, Weekend at Charlie's. But where was he actually buried? Well, that still remains something of a mystery tonight. And all through here, it doesn't really reveal it here. Turning Point USA hasn't really revealed it. The family, we are told, has not revealed the information. Yeah. But the world says here that Charlie Kirk champion felt so lonely. There was no sign of real community, no sense of support. Instead, there was a fear that came from a vision of non-existent alternate reality. People kept telling me that it was the fault of trans people that a cis man had shot Charlie. They had told me that Kirk was killed because of his faith. They told me that Democrat terrorists hated him because he believed in God. They told me he was a martyr, that he was the reason that people were coming to God in great waves around the globe. My head swam in the heat of midday. The memorial felt nothing like a vigil from the previous day. It was a Trump rally, a MAGA demonstration, not a funeral. I think that last statement is fair and accurate. Well, where was he buried? Inquiring minds want to know. Here's a Facebook post. The exact location officially not revealed. Here's a Facebook post, though. It says, "Together We Rise" is post. Show you on screen. "Give me back my son." Charlie Kirk's father breaks down at grave in heartbreaking farewell. So where is this? I don't know if this is real. It was a moment that left everyone in tears. At the grave side of Charlie Kirk, his father, Robert W. Kirk, could no longer hold back his grief. With voice cracking, he cried out, "Give me back my son." Surrounded by family, friends, and mourners, Robert knelt beside the casket, pressing his trembling hands against the wood, as if trying to hold on just a little longer. The raw anguish in his voice carried across the cemetery, leaving many sobbing alongside him. It goes on. Those present described it as the saddest goodbye they had ever witnessed, a father's cry echoing across the graveside. In that moment, everyone was reminded of love's power and the unbearable cost of losing someone far too soon. Click here to watch the full video and the emotional farewell that left the nation in mourning. Yeah, I suspect that the video will go to the memorial service at State Farm Auditorium. Let's click it and find out, because I don't think that's really accurate. My guess is that. Let me pull this down. Yeah, I don't think that story is accurate. I think it's been fabricated. I don't think. Some people wondering if that's really a real picture, an accurate picture. You guys can decide. Put it up. What do you think? I'm really talking about the image at the top, of course. Obviously, the picture of Charlie Kirk is a PNG overlaid, and then the rest of the image, I don't know. Could be a stock image of some kind. Why do I say that? Why are you saying that, Rick? Because I believe that, well, they've never really actually come out. The family is keeping the exact location of the gravesite. It's supposed to be keeping it secret, surely. Some people know, but it has not really been talked about. He was assassinated September 10th in Orem, Utah, following that public memorial service in Glendale, Arizona. It was attended by like 90,000 people, maybe 100,000, including, of course, Donald Trump. And we know he was taken from there and then was laid to rest in his hometown of Phoenix, Arizona. But the Kirk family has chosen not to disclose the exact location of his gravesite. Sources close to the family say the decision was made to preserve a private space for mourning and reflection, shielding it from potential public attention or disturbance. In a statement, his wife, Erica Kirk, Charlie's widow, expressed gratitude for the outpouring of support, but requested privacy after the memorial service and his death, emphasizing the family's desire to honor Charlie's memory in a personal and dignified way. She said, "I don't know if fireworks really fall into that category. I question that as just an observer." Tributes continue to pour in from the country even now, and the family's wishes, I guess, remind us of the balance that needs to be struck between public grief and private healing. But tonight, the actual location of Charlie Kirk's gravesite remains a mystery. And when I go looking, I have not found anything. Now, to indicate that anyone has actually revealed the exact location. I haven't seen, I've seen memorials that have been set up with pictures of Charlie Kirk and flowers around it and things that almost look like a gravesite, but those are memorials set up all over, especially the US and even in Canada. It's a very strange story. I'm going to look in the chat. Does anybody know where Charlie Kirk may have been buried? And and then you see Kash Patel talking about Valhalla, right? In that news conference when they were talking about the investigation right after his death, and Kash Patel, FBI director, said, "I'll see you in Valhalla." Well, some people out there are saying that Valhalla is an actual real place where people from the Witness Protection Program are taken. It's true. There are people out there who are saying that. Is that true? I don't know. I'm good. You know what? Somebody said to me the other day, "Rick, you should do an interview with Grok." Let's do it right now. I had no voice. We'll just do it in real time, and we'll ask Grok. Let's see what Grok says about this tonight. Okay. First of all, what is Valhalla? Grok. Answer: Valhalla is a concept from Norse mythology, often depicted as a majestic hall in Asgard, ruled by the god Odin. It's where fallen warriors deemed worthy by Odin are brought by Valkyries to feast and prepare for Ragnarok, the apocalyptic battle. These warriors, called Einherjar, right, spend their days fighting and nights feasting, living a glorified afterlife. In modern context, Valhalla can also refer to a code name for secretive OpenAI model, mentioned in some online discussions, potentially related to advanced AI development. Haha. What did we see right after Charlie Kirk's death? Even at his memorial service, there was an AI voice generated, and it was broadcasting this whole. There was a video made around it. It wasn't real. It wasn't actually him. It was an AI generated voice and video. They played it at his memorial service. Also, in codename, it says here various cultural references, like in video games. Example: Assassin's Creed Valhalla, movies or music, drawing on the mythological theme. It's a mythological place to begin with. A term used metaphorically for a place of honor or eternal reward. If you mean a specific usage, example, tech, mythology, or pop culture, let me know for a deeper dive. Let me ask this. Is there a place called Valhalla where people protected through the Witness Protection Program by the FBI are taken or go to live? Let's see what we get. No, there is no official or confirmed place called Valhalla where individuals in the U.S. Federal Witness Protection Program, WITSEC, administered by the U.S. Marshals Service, not directly the FBI, are taken or resettled. WITSEC relocates protected witnesses and their families to undisclosed everyday communities across the U.S. and sometimes abroad, providing new identities, housing, and support without designating any specific site or facility by a code name like Valhalla. The program's details are highly classified to ensure safety, but no declassified information or official sources reference Valhalla in this context. That said, the term Valhalla has fueled online speculation and conspiracy theories, trying it to witness protection, largely stemming from a 2011 unproduced screenplay titled The Nameless. It was acquired by Valhalla Motion Pictures and depicts a fictional top-secret WITSEC facility called Valhalla. This appears to be the origin of the rumor, which has since spread into memes and discussions. Recent viral events in September 2025, following the reported assassination of conservative figure Charlie Kirk, FBI Director Kash Patel publicly stated, "Rest now, brother, we have the watch, and I'll see you in Valhalla." This Norse mythology reference, Valhalla as Odin's Hall of Warriors, drew backlash for its perceived insensitivity. This sparked theories that it was insider slang for WITSEC relocation, suggesting Kirk faked his death or entered protection. Social media amplified this, linking it to a shooter's phone wallpaper, a photo of Goat Island, New Zealand, near a resort called Valhalla, and claims of CIA FBI ops. Some posts even allege Valhalla is a CIA code for protection sites, like on Goat Island or in places like Point Roberts, Washington. These claims remain unverified and are dismissed in broader discussions as baseless or satirical. Example, Reddit users questioning the lack of evidence, with one noting, "I can't find anything linking witness protection to Valhalla, as some people claim." No credible leaks, whistleblowers, or investigations support it if new details emerge. Example, from FOIA requests or official statements that could change. But as of October 23rd, today, it is firmly in the realm of internet folklore. That is the response from Grok on that subject. Is Grok telling us the truth? Maybe Grok is part of the internet conspiracy, the AI conspiracy, where even Charlie Kirk could be an AI apparition at this point, or he could be real. We don't know. Well, we've given you the information. You can decide for yourself. Don't go away. I have more.
Greetings, brave mavericks. Our quest for truth continues. We go beyond fake news. Together we expose propaganda. Together we pull others out of rabbit holes. We are maverick thinkers. We are all unique individuals, defenders of individual rights and freedoms, credible, trusted, grounded in reality. Maverick News, Maverick News. Defending free speech, Donate at freedomreporters.com. Do it now. Tomorrow may be too late. Maverick News. The world is watching.
Okay, now it's really going to get weird. I've got the weirdest of the weird news for you tonight here on Truspiracies. First of all, there's this. This is Dayton, Ohio. TVA out there showing their Halloween spirit by putting this giant Godzilla on display next to the cooling towers of a nuclear power facility. That's pretty weird. What's even weirder is this posted on social media, and a lot of people believed it's true, but it isn't. It's fake. This, I'm sure, is true, though. Also very weird, and I don't know if it's news, but this too is, I don't know. I don't know what this is. This is a fish smoking a cigarette with human arms, and if you scroll down, they have a whole X stream or thread here about it with a zoo of animals, and he's sitting and he's exercising and running the 100-meter dash, all smoking a cigarette and eating fire, and I don't know what the hell this is. But why not show you that tonight too? Because it's par for the course. In this land of bizarre, weird news and we're living in an artificial world, but this for sure is freaking true. Here it is here. Look at this. This is a dog-skeeto. May have come from the farm out in Edgewood where they've been injecting all manner of things with all other manner of things, and we don't really know what the hell is going on out there. But look at the dog face on that dog-skeeto. Blending things, gain of function research, I guess, gone awry. That poor little hound dog with wings. And I know that the protesters out there are ramping up a whole campaign to stop swatting. Save the dog-skeetos. All life matters. I knew they'd come for the pets. What the hell is that? I don't know. This also, I have no idea what the hell this is. It's getting weirder and weird. I don't know how much weirder you can get than a dog-skeeto. How about this cloud formation? What is this? I don't know. What is it? What the hell is that? Is it a cloud formation? Is it a chemical thing? Is it a death cloud from Mars? Pretty weird. Also, don't know what it is. Just putting it out there because, and it looks important. Also, you want to talk about farmers? This is actually something that is done fairly commonly, especially at agricultural research facilities and universities or colleges where they have ag programs. This is a cow with a hole in its stomach where human beings get to reach in and just grab stuff out of the cow's stomach. Yeah, we do stuff like this all the time. Yep. There you go. Reaching into the cow's stomach through a hole cut in the side of the animal. Yep. That's pretty weird, eh? Not really. Not really. Not it's not weird. Well, it could be weird, but it's common. Here, let's go back to Grok. Let's find out why they do that. I'll get you the official Grok explanation. I know that at the Ridgetown Agricultural College, for instance, I think out there they do that for students. Is that inhumane? I don't know. Is it? Could be. Considered that. I don't know about you, but I wouldn't want to walk around with a hole in my guts. Somebody can reach in and, oh, okay, you know what? I need this. Yes, I do. All right. So I need this one. Let's go back to Grok. There you go. Too many things to click on. Let's bring Grok up. Hello, Grok again. Okay, Grok. Oh, for crying out loud, Grok, don't do that. Come back. Okay. Why do agricultural schools cut holes in the sides of cows, giving access to the animal's stomach? Agricultural schools sometimes use a procedure called rumen cannulation, where a small permanent opening called a fistula is surgically created in the side of a cow to provide direct access to its rumen, one of the stomach compartments. This is done for several reasons, primarily related to research, education, and animal health. 1, research on digestion. The rumen is where microbes break down fibrous plant material. By accessing it directly, researchers can study digestion processes, test feed efficiency, and analyze how different diets affect nutrient absorption, gas production like methane. Oh my God, global warming from the cows. Remember all that hysteria? Or microbial activity. This helps develop better livestock diets and reduce environmental impacts. Cow farts, education and training. Veterinary and agricultural students can use cannulated cows to learn about ruminant physiology hands-on. They can observe digestion, collect samples, or monitor the rumen environment, gaining practical experience without harming the animal. Animal health and nutrition. Cannulas allow direct intervention, like adding supplements or microbes to improve digestion or treat conditions such as bloat or acidosis. They also help test new feed additives for safety and efficacy. Sustainability and efficiency. Insights from rumen studies improve feed formulations, reducing waste and enhancing milk or meat production efficiency, which supports sustainable farming. Sustainable? That's a cursed word. Taboo, can't say that. That's a leftist thing. WHO, WEF, ABC, KGB. The procedure is performed under anesthesia by trained veterinarians, and the cows are carefully monitored to ensure their welfare. The cannula is fitted with a removable plug to keep it clean and prevent infection. While it may seem unusual, cannulated cows typically live healthy, normal lives, and the practice provides valuable data that benefits both animals and the agricultural industry. And there you have Grok's explanation. I told you it's not that uncommon. That isn't even in the weird news section, really. I just slipped it in there. You leftist! What are you doing reaching into the cow's stomach? Communist! Only commies reach into cow guts. This is why Donald Trump is imposing tariffs on China. It's rubberized clothes. He doesn't want you wearing them because this is a leftist thing too. Here we go. Trust me, it is. These are communists for sure. This is communist clothing.
兄弟们，今天我的女神约我出去吃饭，她说想看我穿西装出去，所以今天穿一套金属蓝的西装出去约会，你们觉得怎么样？好看吗？这个颜色有点复古，穿起来显得非常优雅随性，也太好看了吧！很多兄弟问我在哪认识的约会对象，悄悄告诉你们，我最近在探探认识。
What do you think? Is it a big GQ thumbs up or down? GQ magazine, thumbs up or thumbs down? Is it stylish? Is it a new trend? Is it the new thing? Does anybody want this? I don't know. If you wore that out in the sun on a hot day, I think you might sweat yourself to death. Now you might lose some weight. That could be a positive. No more Ozempic. Yeah, just sweat your weight away. But make sure you're fully hydrated. Oh my God. And there's no place for the moisture to go. You'd be swimming in your own perspiration. But man, it looks slick, doesn't it? It glows. It's got like a clear coat on it. Man, you could do so many things with that. It's like giving yourself a vinyl wrap. You could get sparkly, metallic, rubberized clothes. Not only that, you could start a whole new sexual fetish with that stuff. I mean, it goes beyond leather. Really weird stuff. Yeah, good thing we've got those tariffs in place. Don't want that stuff making its way to traditional values, North America, where the rise of the right is underway. Here's more from the farms. For those of you who think milk comes your bacon comes from the supermarket. If you think you're gonna, I remember this old commercial, this old television commercial back from in the 70s when feminism was becoming, a sort of an advertising tool to reach women. And I don't remember what it was for, but it was this, it starts off with this woman. She's holding a frying pan in the commercial. And she says, I bring home the bacon and fry it up in a pan. And I never, ever what is it? Let my husband know that he's the man, or something like that. It was just so goofy. I purposely sang it poorly, just to emphasize the bizarre nature of the commercial from the 70s. But it was a sign of the times. Anyway, she brings home the bacon, fries it up in a pan, thinking it comes from the supermarket, but it doesn't. It really actually comes from this place. There you go. There you go. That's what you're eating. What the hell is that? What happens when you start injecting criminals with antigens? Test that. Screw the ostriches. Get the CFIA down to that farm. What the hell is that? I think the UFOs landed in the back, and that came out. But it's pork. Nutritious and delicious. It's so freaking weird. I just bashed myself in my glasses. I need to take a break. I hurted myself. It's too freaking weird tonight. Okay, don't worry. I'll be okay. I'm fine. I just need a moment to recompose myself. Hang on. There's more right after this.
The sharing of biased and
false news has become all too common on social media.
More alarmingly, some media outlets publish these things simply aren't true without checking facts first.
Unfortunately, some members of the media use their platforms to push their own personal bias and agenda to control exactly what people think, and this is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
In an ocean of lies a century deep, the truth awaits. Choose not the red pill. Choose not the blue pill. For both are an illusion. Discover the power of M. The power of individuality. We are mavericks. We are the way to the light. Fear not the storm. Join our quest for truth. Truth will set you free. Maverick News. The world is watching.
It's so weird out there. And I'm not trying to do myself self-harm here or anything. It's all fine. I just accidentally bashed myself in the face because the news is so bizarre. So the poopy plane thing, that's still ongoing. The president, there's just been more memes, video memes out there of fighter jets bombing Democrats with feces. So that's happening. And then Trump, of course, saying, I'm not a king, but in the response to the No Kings rally, but then also posting pictures of himself online as a king. And then there's me remembering him also posting pictures of himself as a pope, sharing that stuff online through Truth Social. And then there's this. And this also, I don't know what this is. Does anybody know what that is? This is more news that I cannot report on because all I can do is just show you I don't understand it. Is this, like, what is it? I'm not sure. Prayer, I guess. Anyway, it just looks a little weird to me. But maybe not. That's probably the least weird thing of all tonight. This also freaking weird. In response to that, what is this? This is like a satanic psycho metal or something, with a political twist. Let me share it. Bizarre. And I hope I don't get a copyright strike. That's all I can say. What is this, Holly weird or something else weird?
If you keep calling 911, you could... It's not.
All of you stupid, fat, fucking white privileged motherfuckers can't take me money, and you do whatever the fuck you want. I wish I was a cop so I could shoot all of you. Come out! People are breaking the law. Come out! He didn't use his turn signal.
There's nothing to worry about. I'm sure America is going to be fine. Well, except then you have stupid people like this from the Stupid People file. Don't. My advice is don't do this.
What did they say?
I just told the lady in the gas station, and she said she knows. She's calling the cops.
The cops are on their way?
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Hi.
You know that this is really dangerous, right?
What are you doing, dude?
You know that this is really not safe. You're gonna cause a big accident. Just beat it, will you? Seriously.
Dude.
Yeah.
Why are you doing that?
If somebody throws a lit gas match in here, it's gonna blow. Leave me alone, all right? He's just gonna drive off. Look at it, it's flashing. Oh my god!
What is he doing? Dude.
Where's
Molly? We have to.
What the?
Look at that. Are you serious?
Unbelievable. I mean,
Where does he think he's going?
I have no idea.
How is he going to put that into his... No, he didn't!
Yes, he totally did.
No, he didn't!
Oh my God. Again, okay, that's just, yeah. It just proves the world is full of stupid people. China has incredible technology, so much so that it looks like some scientist or social media influencer maybe who has purchased the latest in Chinese electronics gizmos has found a way to, I'm not sure which way this goes. Either it's like, honey, I shrunk the house, or I expanded the pets.
切了啊，
Cats
一
and
切
dogs.
切两半，狗哥今年一定赚。
This is
不
weird.
错，狗哥今天生日不能跟他打
What
架
the hell is
啊
this?！
我就给小蜘蛛和老鼠送点蛋糕。咋了，不错？你也想进来啊？哎，你进不来，宝贝儿。切了啊，一切切两。
Okay, so yeah, honey, I shrunk the house. Do you want to know what's really weird though? Like, you think that's weird? JD Vance changes size as well. He's like the incredible expanding and shrinking man all in one. That's why you have these ongoing debates over how tall he is. He knows all about it. He's aware that he's been found out.
You're tall. Are you a little taller than him or not? Yep.
I think we're about the same height.
Okay.
Yeah, which is funny, man. The weird shit people say about you on the internet. Like there was a long time, maybe even still today, if you Google how tall is JD Vance, it would say 5'7". And it says 6'2" now.
Somebody updated it then.
Yeah, somebody updated it.
Yeah.
Okay, the first headline is JD Vance is tall, but Americans are getting shorter. What the hell is the internet's a weird ass
It also
place.
says Joe Biden is 6 foot sleep. I don't know if that's a height.
Well, see, this is a thing though. How tall is JD Vance? There was like a conspiracy on the internet that I was a really short guy, but
yeah,
no, I'm about 6'2".
I think you're tall. Are you a little taller?
6'2". I don't think so. Look at him sitting in that chair. You tell me. You tell me. I'm going to bring it back up. How tall do you really think JD Vance is? How tall is he really in this house? Look at him. He barely fits in the chair. I think max he's about 4 inches. Careful there, JD. You don't go visiting China. The cat and the dog and the mouse will eat you. Just swallow you whole, dude. Just saying. You don't want to go there. I don't think he probably wouldn't be too popular there either. Bill Clinton went back to the White House. This for sure is real. Here we go. Oh, he's got somebody with him. I don't know if it's Hillary. Here. Look at that. There he is. He's back at the White House. Can't quite place the I'm not sure. Who would that be? Oh, he's no playful, isn't he? Oh, the Gucci guy. Oh, look at that. I think they're getting ready to put on their rubberized outfits. He's not afraid of China. He's not allowed. He's not afraid to go way down. I'll be right back.
Greetings, brave mavericks. Our quest for truth continues. We go beyond fake news. Together we expose propaganda. Together we pull others out of rabbit holes. We are maverick thinkers. We are all unique individuals, defenders of individual rights and freedoms, credible, trusted, grounded in reality. Maverick News, Maverick News. Defending free speech, Donate at freedomreporters.com. Do it now. Tomorrow, maybe too late. Maverick News. The world is watching.
Tucker Carlson was not entirely truthful or accurate or something when he was saying that we really haven't heard from the administration since the whole drone conspiracy thing began and mania. I just bring you back to this, where the Pentagon addressed this.
These are not U.S. military drones. Again, this is being investigated by local law enforcement. What our initial assessment here is that these are not drones or activities coming from a foreign entity or adversary.
You're telling me we don't know what the hell these drones are in New Jersey are? Is that correct?
That's right.
It's crazy. I mean, that's crazy. That's madness that we don't know what these drones are.
From the Coast Guard, who said that one of their 47-foot motor lifeboats was followed by between 12 and 30 of these drones as they went through the water.
These are 6-foot drones that are somehow evading our detection. They are not being detected.
They're saying no threat, but how the hell do they know? They don't know anything. They don't know what it is. They don't know where it come from. They don't know nothing.
They know that they can't track them. They know that they don't emit a signal. They know that they can't see them when they turn their lights out. They also indicated that they don't know where they come from. They don't know where they go to.
One family claims they followed a drone in their car, and while it hovered above them, the clock in their car changed times.
Some of the FBI agents that have been assigned to look into this have reported drones flying over their homes.
It's right here over Picatinny. There was a drone just hanging out. I put my drone up in the air and went towards it. I had full battery life. Not 3 minutes into the flight, I lost control of the drone. Warning on my screen, lost control, and my drone started going down dead.
These are fully charged batteries. It's 2 batteries that have died within seconds, and the drone went up and, like a couple feet off the table, and then came right back down.
Okay, you see it? You see how it goes? See how it goes? And then it becomes a spacecraft or aircraft or whatever you want to call it.
What the fuck is that, bro? Did it just get smaller? Bro, what?
Above the ocean, and it was low, very low, but so bright and so clear, and it was huge. Like when you...
I'm concerned. I issued a letter to ask for more information, and I think there should be a lot more transparency about that.
Can you make that make more sense? Because I think people in New York and New Jersey see drones the size of an SUV over their house every night and think that that doesn't make any sense.
I understand why people would be looking at this and being concerned about it. We're concerned about it too, which is why we have the Department of Homeland Security and the FBI. My goodness, looking at this. And
so this is not good, right? I can tell you though, the mysterious drone sightings, which peaked back in 2024, primarily over New Jersey, spreading over parts of New York, Pennsylvania, Connecticut, and other East Coast states, started around mid-November, just about almost a year ago, just days after the November 5th presidential election. Everything kind of simmered down after Donald Trump was elected, which to me seems very, very odd. But then in a joint statement back on December 12th of 2024, there was a statement, as you may recall. They downplayed it as a no national security or public safety threat and no foreign nexus. And they attributed most sightings to a mix of lawful, commercial, hobbyist law enforcement drones, misidentified manned aircraft, planes, helicopters, and even stars or planets. And they noted no confirmed incursions or in restricted airspace and emphasized that visual reports often didn't match electronic detections. And Trump said that he was going to get to the bottom of it. He promised that he would tell us all about it in January of 2025. The Trump administration came out and attributed the flights to FAA permitted activities, including military research, commercial ops, and testing. And then a May 2025 release of federal documents showed many drones were routine air traffic, like a medevac helicopter mistaken during a car crash response. There was also condensation trails from planes. Oh, chemtrails. No evidence of foreign involvement despite widespread claims by people like Jeff Van Drew's Iranian mothership theory. And there are still lingering questions out there because of all of the inconsistencies and the lack of rapid transparency. Not everyone bought the explanations, and some people are still skeptical. In short, I don't know what it was. I don't know if they're telling us the truth. Some think it was some election-tied plot that vanished when Trump came into office. I don't know. It's all just weird. It's a truspiracy. It did happen. But what's the truth of it all? Can't really say for sure. Bat Boy. Remember Bat Boy? We did a whole thing about Bat Boy here. The Bat Boy tabloid, Weekly World News. Remember? He's back. Bat Boy is back. Yes, he is. You may remember Bat Boy from tabloid covers like this one on the Weekly World News. Bat child found in cave. Boy captured by explorers 2 miles underground. He might be related to Pigface and Dog Skeeto. I'm not sure. I think all of them have been out to the farm in Edgewood, being injected with God knows what. In spite of Jim Kerr saying, no, they weren't injected with anything. No? Oh, let me show you this. Let me show you that Bat Boy is back. Rolling Stone announces exclusive 100% true report on the whereabouts of Bat Boy. Look, I'm sure this is true. Hardly a conspiracy. Right there, look at that. Bat Boy lives. I told you he's back. Elvis is back too. It says so right there on the cover of Rolling Stone. The UFOs are on page 32, but Elvis was sighted at the White House. That's also a headline story in that edition of Rolling Stone. Rolling Stone has nabbed an exclusive report on the whereabouts of Bat Boy. The 100% true, incredible, shocking article was published as a cover story this month by the reputable magazine, trusted by all for its impeccable fact-checking and vetting process, leading to stories that are not just true, but double plus true. The gripping profile, it says here, of the pariah Bat Boy chronicled his journey from being born a mutant half-boy, half-bat to being captured by a shadowy scientific organization run by the United States government to escaping again, to being captured again, to escaping again, and so on. According to the story, Bat Boy has led a roller coaster of a life since he was first discovered in 1992. Yeah, this guy, quote here, this is a quote from Rolling Stone writer Peter Wade. It says, yeah, this guy reached out on the phone and said he wanted to tell us his story, and it turned out it was Bat Boy. We really didn't fact check it or anything because he did kind of sound like a bat. He screeched and stuff, so we were pretty sure it was true. Anyway, yeah, it was a pretty riveting story. I guess he might have been involved with the whole Wuhan thing. Rand Paul, where are you when we need you? Get Dr. Fauci on this. And then he spent a few years finding himself out in the wild, traveling, seeing the sights. Bat Boy worked at a Portland coffee shop for a few years, and no one batted an eye. We're excited to share his unbelievable but true story with the world at last in Rolling Stone. The issue is available on store shelves right now, right next to other tabloids like Weekly World News and National Enquirer and the New York Times. And that coming from, well, one of the most credible, trustworthy sources of news on the internet and around the world, the Babylon Bee. But I'm serious, the Bat Boy really is back because in New York, they have Bat Boy the musical, baby. It's a new thing. Yeah. Bat Boy the musical.
It's going to be Batboy, but a newer, better, more alive, more present version of it, I think. This music, it's written with such intelligence and care and craft and wit and heart, and to have all of those come together in a musical and in a whole bunch of songs, I think is actually very rare. Larry has such an ability to make something come alive in front of your face, and doing it in a way that is funny and charming and heartwarming, and so it touches your brain and your heart, and I think that's a really beautiful thing.
The sonic world of Batboy was influenced by all of the stuff that made me jump around as a kid. The kind of horror you see in Sweeney Todd, the kind of very loud guitars you'll get from Led Zeppelin, Kurt Weill, Leonard Bernstein, actually quite a bit of Frank Lesser, because his kind of comedy that you get in like Guys and Dolls, that's very much in my DNA. I grew up with that. For this version, we have an orchestra of 12, and we are incredibly lucky to have it.
It feels like more than 12. It feels like at least 13. No, it feels enormous.
October 29th to November 9th. Tickets from $45. What a steal. I actually would like to go see that, but I don't live in New York. I'm a Kanakistanian, and I ain't crossing the border right now. I'm too afeared that I might end up in the gulag in Ecuador. Just because I said a couple of things that maybe the guy in the White House might not appreciate too much of late. But hey, that's my job, and I'm sticking to it. And when I say the guy in the White House, who am I talking about? I'm talking about Elvis. Because Elvis is Trump. Oh, it's true. Trump. Listen.
We're out here on the South Lawn, and President Trump is playing Elvis.
No, he's not. He's not playing Elvis. That's Trump singing. It's karaoke. And now we know Trump is Elvis. Listen. He's getting ready to perform in the ballroom when construction is complete. Oh, it's too weird. Oh, it's just too freaking weird. I don't know what else to. Is there anything else I can show you tonight that's weirder than what I've shown you? There's Stargate Elvis. This too. I mean, hey, we're living in an AI world, right? Well, then let's get some reality and some truth going on here. Hang on.
Busy! Time to leave the building, baby. Cover him! Keep that shield busy!
Starring Donald Trump.
Line up the shafts of the King's Chamber with Orion, you'll see they match exact, like they were set by a cosmic metronome.
Excuse me, do you know anything about the Stargate?
Son, that's a whole other chapter.
Elvis, you're the best we've got! You have to go through that space portal, and you have to do it now! Lives are on the line, do you understand me?
I hear you loud and clear, General. Just say the word and I'll step on through. Word said. Gear up. So you're the brass signing off on this little walk through the stars.
General Briggs, I've read your file, Mr. Presley, mostly after-action reports and a few stage reviews.
Hope the critics were kind. You really coming with us?
I wouldn't miss it.
General, you brought me all the way down here in the middle of the night. I'd like to know what kind of door we're about to knock on.
If that ring out there opens to another world.
Well, this ain't Vegas.
Gate's clear. We move now?
Not yet. Those folks by the dunes haven't blinked once, and I don't like it.
Orders are to step through.
Yeah, and stay alive while we're at it. Give me 30 seconds.
30.
Keep your spacing. We hit the ridge in 30 seconds.
Copy that, Captain.
Eyes up. That ring behind us isn't the only thing waiting out here.
Sandstorm's picking up.
Then we outrun it. Move!
Never thought I'd find a place like this on the far side of the stars.
It isn't as far as it feels when someone is willing to listen.
Well, darling, you got my ears.
More of them cutting across the ridge. Come on, man, move. Whoa. Under my boots, stars over my head. Heart beats loud like a drum of the desert spread. Hey ya, sunlight fire.
Yeah,
wrong
baby.
singer to kidnap Goldface.
You are no god, yet you dare challenge one.
I'm just a man with a mic and a mean right hand. Let her go.
Kneel.
Looks like the party's over, Featherhead.
Well, I'll be. That's one mighty big blue halo you got there, Colonel.
It's the Stargate. Destination's locked.
Looks like a swimming pool for the stars, baby.
You ready to move?
Always ready. Let's take care of business. When the sun leans low and the sand turns gold, breathing feels like prayer, I will sing you home.
What a weird world we're living in. I don't know what it is. Walter Cronkite. I've said this many times on the show. I don't know if I ever attributed it to him, but I used to watch Batman when I was a kid every night after school. Like, not night, it was like late afternoon. And I would watch Batman before the 6 p.m. CBS Evening News would come on at, I guess it was 6, right? Yeah. 6 p.m. And Walter Cronkite would always sign off with like some sort of an op-ed, weird, kicker story or whatever. And he would finish up with, that's not news, but that too is reality. Well, what I've shown you tonight here on Truspiracies, and even during the regular portion of the newscast, I'm not sure if it's news, but that too is artificial something. Reality? I hesitate to use the word intelligence. One thing's for sure. It's all fake. See you tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Eastern, on the flip side.
Biden's about, Charlie's alive. Elvis flips burgers on the Lower East Side. 10 Trumps mask up on your phone. Shilling mean coins by remote drone. Graphene needles in your veins. Chemtrail sugar fries your brain. George Floyd's American hologram pie. Don't trust your lying eyes. It's all fake. It's all fake. The moon is a hoax. Give your head a shake. It's all fake. It's all fake. Your mama's a lizard. Your daddy's a snake.
This has been a Maverick Multimedia production.